All right, man. Welcome to Black Tantrum uh podcast, and I'm here with
Asante Gold,
Asante Gold. Asante Gold, man. It's been a long time. Finally,
finally.
finally, you're here today.
Yeah. The feds they got me stuck in New York, you know. So I had to make it down here.
Yeah.
I gotta
How
show
was the
up.
job, man?
It's been alright. Been making it for a while now, so it's like muscle memory. Like I know like exactly the three gas stations I stop
That you
at.
stopped.
Sheets and then I have one it's like Mirablito or something.
Mhm.
I know the exact same ones. I stop every time over there. Crazy story. When I stopped at Sheets today, when I was in the bathroom, I was taking a piss and the lights went out. I had to pull out my flashlight. What's going on here? For like 5 minutes,
Man,
and when I came out of the store, and the lights came back on. But yeah, it's muscle
that's
memory now.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Actually, driving down to New York, it's crazy.
it's
I mean,
crazy.
it's whew,
You ever drove in New York in the
bro.
city?
It was
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't.
it
I
was
don't do
bad,
that.
man.
I don't do that.
Terrible.
That's for brave men.
Woo, terrible.
That's for brave men.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like driving in little DC. I mean, DC, you kind of get that. You get that New York vibe
Yeah, I haven't
a little bit.
driven these. I never.
It's the same thing. It's like one
Yeah.
way street,
The only
same thing.
what gets me is the traffic lights. That's like one light
Mm.
and it's in the corner. It's not like in the middle. So you don't know, it's I don't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't like that.
Also with traffic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Traffic is crazy in New York.
Yeah. See, I'm in upstate New York, so
It's not that
it's
crazy.
it's not that crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy. Ah, that's crazy, man. But I'm glad you're here. So if you just joined us, that's the Black Tantrum uh Records podcast. We already dropped episode 1, episode 2. This is episode 3. Episode 2, I did not have uh Trey Money V in the house, so I did it by myself. But here I'm lucky to have Asante Gold here, and we're gonna break it down. You know what I mean? But we're gonna be talking about you know the transition. Obviously you were born in Ghana.
Right.
You grew up in Ghana, and how is it like? Like how making music?
Yeah.
Because I know you do music. You released your album,
Right.
and I mean, you've been doing it for quite a while.
Right.
But the thing is, how's the difficulty level? You know how when you go to like
Right.
the hospital and you have these little dots from 1 to 10 rate, like the difficulty level.
Well, so like an intro for guys who don't know me, my name's Asante Gold. I've
Sure.
been making music for a while. I just dropped my first project like
Mm.
last month, so it's available on all platforms.
Mm.
I got into music basically. I was inspired by my brother, and he happens to be my brother. So
Yeah.
growing up back home, like you learn a lot of melodies.
Mm.
So back home, just growing up listening to high life and hip life, and a lot of European sounds, Boney M, one of my dad's favorite bands and stuff
For
like
sure.
that. So growing up, learning a
Christmas.
lot of sounds, yeah, Christmas songs and stuff like that. So that that combination of sounds like kind of sparked my interest in music, and my brother was like super into sound engineering. So my interest in music was like really started at a young age.
Sure.
Um, about like the difficulty from 1 to 10.
Sure.
I think everything is easy if you have the passion for it. Again, nothing's easy, but it's I can't put a number on like on there's no number on that because you can't scale it because it's art.
Mm.
You can't ask a painter how hard it is to paint. Like you can't ask Da Vinci how hard it is to paint the Mona Lisa. Like you can't because
I mean,
it's I mean
you can
because
ask.
you can't scale. I mean I don't
Because
know if
no, no,
that's
no.
possible.
The question is basically
Right.
the there's definitely gonna be some difficult level because uh you know because transitioning from native, because there's a way we speak in Ghana,
Right.
and it's not like you were just doing Ghanaian music. You were doing
Yeah.
hip hop. You were doing
Yeah.
English and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, at a certain point, you change the way you write music.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
that's
Okay.
the
I get what
that's
you're
the question.
saying now.
Like, I mean, how was it
Was the
easy? I mean, maybe if I put it this way, what was the easiest like music when you actually writing it? Is it you writing a local song, or you writing an English song?
So surprisingly, when I write in English, I'm more comfortable, which is crazy to say because you would think that my first language would be the easiest one, but when I write in English, it's easier for me.
Mm.
But when I record in Akan, it's easier for me because I flow more naturally because it's my natural tongue.
It's your native, yeah.
The transition is definitely challenging because even though we speak the same, like Americans speak English, back home we speak English as our official language.
Right.
The accent and it's very different. So I first was doing hip hop and stuff like that, but I realized I had to go back and do the Afro pop and go back to my roots and stuff like that. So now I do both, but definitely there's a learning curve like in that because hip hop is very. I feel like you have to learn it. It's hip hop. I think is the only genre that's like it's Black American. Like it started in New York. So if you want to do like good hip hop, it's not this hip hop that you know
there's
what
a
I'm
culture
talking
to
about.
it.
You have to learn. So
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
There's a
process.
culture. There's a culture to it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think you could just get up and do
No.
somebody's
Yeah,
cultural.
Yeah.
Definitely hip hop is not African. Like,
No,
I don't.
for sure.
A lot of people say, "Oh, everything
Hip
comes from
hop is
Africa."
universal. It
Nah,
definitely is not.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You could try to do it. You could do it,
Yeah.
but there's a specific sound that hip hoppers or hip hop listeners have,
Yeah.
and they look out for that sound, and you should flow a certain way, even the jargons and stuff. That's one of the hardest things, is like the jargons.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
The other day we were mentioning Nasty C. Nasty C is one of the guys, like, he's one of the guys that actually stayed in South Africa but was able to kind of like pick up the jargon, because when he raps and when he does music, you can't really tell.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many African artists sound like him?
Yeah, because
there's a few.
Yeah.
So you could take the hip hop genre, the hip hop beat, and do your own thing on it, but to actually do something to. So I totally understand.
Yeah, it's like I feel like hip hop is one of those genres that like you can take a hip hop beat and put your spin on it. I mean, there's like variations of hip hop. You got the emo rap and the like the hip hop that's the screamo rap. The one with the X. There's different variations, and like with Nasty C, like he definitely sounds American. Like even I was listening to one of your podcasts and you were saying that you can't tell the difference when he raps, and it's
tell.
interesting to see because you can't. It's not the same for every genre. Like if you can take like the Asian guy that was doing the Afro pop, he didn't have to.
Who's that?
The Asian dude that was doing the Afro pop.
Oh yeah.
The guys he was talking about.
Yeah.
Like Afro pop, you can
you can improvise.
Yeah, you don't have to sound like you're from Nigeria to do Afro pop. But like with hip hop, when you do it, you can tell that you're trying to be American. It's
right.
so like, it's symbolizes American culture so much that So if you're not born here, it's like
I don't think you need to be born here to do it.
Oh, I mean, of course not.
As long as you.
I feel like it's a learned journey.
Yeah. You have to learn it well, and you have to learn the ins and outs of it. Yeah. So that's just by the way, just wanted to know how man, I'm having difficulties with this chord. My bad. Let me give one minute to fix this chord. All right. So I think it's yeah. So that was my question. That was my first question. Also, you dropped an album. You worked on all the songs.
Yeah,
That was impressive.
yeah, it
Tell
was
us about it,
crazy.
man. Tell us about it.
Started as I wanted to just drop just the singles, just a few songs of
Mm,
it, cause I recorded it. It was
mm,
sitting on my computer, and I was like, I'm just gonna drop these. Um, when it comes to the production side of it, it was really so it was challenging because that's
yeah.
my first. Because every time I produce something, it's a lot of asking people, is this sound right? Is this good? And this, like, for this project, I just did everything by myself. I had a couple people that I asked, what do you think about this? But it was
Yeah.
basically all my work. And I had some features from one of my friends from Togo. Had his record on there, and
Yeah.
then of course you. But yeah, it told a story of basically where I was born, and the lifestyle,
Yeah.
and the struggles we go through.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. It was kind of like
I loved it.
how I released mine too. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
Something that just pushes you to just push it out. Um,
Yeah, it's weird, right?
it's
It's like
very weird. It's
you
like
have the song sitting there.
it's
You're
so
like,
weird.
sometimes like you have to drop
Drop
this.
it. Just drop it, bro.
Yeah,
So you get that feeling, and it's like, and if you have the powerhouse, and you know,
yeah.
you have the powerhouse. You
Can I
have,
ask a question though? How was I've listened to your album, and
mm,
I don't know if you guys have listened to his album, but it's great songs. It's
it's pretty awesome.
it's almost it's almost illegal that like he doesn't have that amount of listeners. But I want you to tell people who don't know, dropping your first album, how's it feeling like? Well, after you drop it, like, if you get the reactions,
I
how is
mean,
it?
I
And
mean,
then,
this podcast is about you, but it's
oh,
cool.
okay.
Um,
I wanted to know.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you have a whole lot of songs, and you just
Right.
just feel like it's the right time to drop it. But a lot of people say, oh, don't drop, albums, drop singles. Singles are a lot better. Da, da, da. You know what I mean? But I had like 30, 40 songs.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? So I had to drop it. I just had to drop it. So I mean, the process, there's quite a bit of process that goes into it, but I was able to like skim through and pick my favorites and pick the ones that I feel like is good enough. I mean, after you drop an album, you have this feeling like, oh, the album's not that too hard, and that's a good feeling.
Mm.
It's a good feeling for you to prepare for the next one. And it's so funny when you drop albums. Sometimes the songs do not even make it until you drop the second and the third. That's when people actually start like listening to the first.
Mm.
Damn, he has something in the first one. You know what I mean? So when you drop yours, I was like, yeah, man, let him do the work. He's dropping it. That's good. And you actually have some 4 or 5 fire songs in there, and you know what I mean, and it's dope. That's
Appreciate
why
that.
that's why I asked you about it. Good production, good production. Really good production. So, what is your I mean, what are your softwares? I mean, what softwares are you comfortable with? Because I know you use FL. I'm more of a Logic all around kind of.
Yeah.
I know you're pretty comfortable with FL. I mean, there's a lot of advances that are gone through that software.
Yeah.
I mean, comparing. So, the FL is what you use, right? Like, you comfortable just using? Why having to use like Logic? As,
I'm I don't know if you heard about this. There's like a gang for Windows. I'm in the gang.
you FL
And
gang.
they got initiated into it. So
FL
if I
Studios.
stop
Yeah.
using FLstudio, I probably will get killed somewhere. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, FLstudio very
For
committed.
life.
Yeah, I'm just comfortable with it, because I started. That's how I started to. I learned how to make beats on FLstudio.
Right, right.
And and a lot of people say you should not mix audio in FL Studio. True, True,
No.
because if you compare the quality to Logic, it's outstanding. But
I mean, Logic 2 has
when
his
you
master Pro Tools.
it has yeah, but
You know what I mean?
if I feel like if there's a lot of things in FL that people don't
I mean, back in the '90s, there were hit songs that were releasing on FL.
on FL, yeah,
Like if you do it, I mean, when you load FL in the beginning, at every year you have this first song that play in the beginning. I remember "Fall Silently." That's
yeah.
that's FL 10.
They still have it. I don't.
Fall silently.
I think they
No,
still
no, no.
have it.
The mix was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freedom. You know what I mean? I mean, when you go like DJs use FL a lot. I mean, hip hop is FL.
Hip hop
I
is
mean,
FL.
I don't know if FL wasn't
Hip-hop
there. I
is
don't know where
FL.
I don't know where hip hop would have been right
It's
now.
crazy because every time I look at Genius, how it's made, almost of it Wonder, what's
Everybody.
Wonder Kid, whatever, Wonder, whatever.
Yeah, Boy Wonder.
Yeah, Weezy out here. Oh, every one of them FL. It's like, geez, you
FLstudio.
guys, like what producer uses like Logic and stuff to make beats? Like, do you know any? Travis Scott uses FL.
So, man, this chord, Jesus Christ, bro. So, it really depends, to be honest. I've been producing for maybe it's been like 10 years right now.
Yeah.
And FL is good at what it does. You know, you got to use the right tools to do the right job. You know what I mean? But now technology is like it's so advanced right now that you can use FL to make beats. You can
Oh yeah,
use
the new
FL
ones
to
are
mix.
crazy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the technology, all these
Yeah.
companies are really because it got to a point. FL, it felt like they're not doing anything. It
Yeah.
felt like the software was on FL10 and that's it.
Yeah, because the old versions with I remember
it was just the same
if
thing.
you got the signature bundle, all the packs you had to buy packs.
You got to buy packs.
Now the packs that
it's
come on FL is
it's
crazy.
really good.
It's like
And
mixed.
the mixer channel,
Oh.
you have the buses going.
Oh.
You know, you could do a lot of things on FL that you couldn't do before. I mean, you can. The processes and the if you want to do it, it's there. It's just it was very tedious, so you're gonna use something else. Logic is good with mixing. If you were a beginner, Logic would be a more friendly software.
Really, a lot of
Yeah.
people say it's harder to use.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
and then if you go to Pro Tools, then it's a lot harder. Then you know what I mean. So I think the industry standard that's the same Pro Tools, but I really see, guys. This is what I think. Whatever you can use to get a job done. I mean, if you do a song and it's playing on the radio, some songs are mixed in Ableton, some songs are mixed in Pro Tools, some songs, it doesn't really matter. It's like a lot of people sitting in the class, one will come first, one will come second. They both gonna get awards, but they both had different study guides or different study patterns or different study strategies. You know what I mean? So, in Ghana, I know they used Cubase. Some of the music that Ghanaians and Nigerians make, they mixed it in Cubase. But you listen to it here, it sounds good. There are songs that I've done in FL. Some songs that I've mixed it in Logic. The songs that I've done it in Pro Tools. You really can't tell the difference if it's really done well. So, the learning curve is the most important thing. If you pick an EQ, if you really know how to use an EQ, then you know you're on the right path. So I really don't think the DAW is the main problem. So, what do you think about Afrobeats? I love talking about African music because obviously you're African.
From
so
there, yeah.
Where do you think Afrobeats is going, man? Recently I saw an interview with actually I think it's Burna Boy was on live, and he was with Angelique Joe or something like that. Is it Angelique Joe? Yeah, I think Angelique Joe. And it was heavy, and they were talking about how Afrobeats is taking over, and when is it gonna get there? And she was saying that she could see it happening, but when is it gonna get there? When will African music be like on the top with like we unstoppable.
Um, I think that Afrobeats is being on top, but it hasn't. It never got its credit until recently, and this is why I say this. I might sound crazy. Afrobeats has been the inspiration for a lot of genres. If you listen to Brazilian funk, their drum patterns is straight from Afropop.
Right.
If you listen to even reggae, their 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 drum patterns is African. It's percussion. It's African. It's straight from West Africa. If you listen to songs from South Africa, if you listen to some songs from Germany, they have this genre of music they do in Germany. I forgot. It's like I forgot what his exact name is, but there's a lot of influences from African.
You were
music
playing some songs in
Brazilian
French.
funk. It's it's
Some French songs.
yeah, and it's
like,
so but I feel
straight.
like now that the Burna Boy and Whiskey, they're making global impact, and I feel like
yeah, very global impact.
in the next few years, I mean, now they play David on the radio.
Yeah.
Here now people know.
Yeah,
You hear this like one of my friends was like, yeah, I know. I'm like, how do you know? It's like
how you know
they're
the
telling me
video?
the songs that he's releasing like days.
Mm.
Like they're pre-saving his albums. Like that's how crazy they're selling out shows. So yeah, it's definitely getting somewhere for
Wow.
sure. And
Wow.
I mean, Burna Boy. At one point he had like 24 million listeners on Spotify. That was more than Ghana at one point. I mean, at one point he was bigger than some of the American artists here. So he's definitely doing something, for sure. It's taking over. I mean, it influences. It's endless. Like now we have these American rappers that are going there and they're tapping
to
in
do stuff.
because they see the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's approaching, and I'm
It's
actually
crazy.
I'm actually like very happy.
Yeah.
I would be very happy if I see Afrobeats like genre.
It is a genre.
That would be tough.
It is.
No. Like officially.
Oh, it's not official?
If you're releasing songs, you don't see Afrobeats.
That is true.
You don't see Afrobeats.
That is true.
So
Wow,
it doesn't.
that
Yeah,
is true.
Yeah, I don't see Afrobeats.
Oh, I thought it was.
Sometimes I don't know where to put my songs, bro.
Yes.
So where do I put it?
Like on this show,
It's not
you
pop.
put your
It's
songs.
not
It's
pop.
not. It's not pop. I always put on the pop because I really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pop.
That's the
And
closest, but it's not pop. It's not pop. High
Definitely not
life is
pop.
Afrobeats.
Yeah.
Hip life, Afrobeats.
Wow.
Where you gonna put it at?
That is true.
Put it at pop.
Who-
Miley Cyrus pop.
Who? What is the authority? Like who? Like what authority?
I don't know.
Governs like what music is
I think
official.
That's what I'm
genre?
saying. But that's what Angelique Joe and some of these guys were talking about,
Right.
because they're like, okay, we doing well, but when are we gonna see our music in the box, like in the boxes?
Well, if the genre is not even official, then
No, it's
how
not
they gonna
official.
recognize?
How you gonna How you gonna be recognized? This jazz, this funk, this, that. There's no Afrobeats. The Afrobeats has been
That is
been there
crazy.
for
Africa is like the
I
second
mean-
biggest
I mean,
continent.
since Afrobeat started actually popping. It's been 10 years, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been straight 10 years. More than that.
Wow.
Techno song, Pana, was everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere
Yeah.
in America. Like, it was everywhere. These people sell O2s and stuff. They sell stadiums and, you know what I mean? What I'm seeing is the Africans here recognize the African songs and African artists.
Mm.
But I don't know too much about how the approach of actual Americans, like
They love
the American. I mean, some of the American, because
They love
I actually met one lady and we were talking, and she knew Kelvin Boy, she knew
Yeah.
Strong Man. I'm like, how you know all that?
It's the same way that we
know what I'm
also
saying?
get intrigued by hip hop. We remember
Yeah.
when it was back home.
Yeah,
and we
used to
knew
play-
all
we
the
used to-
all the
oh, yeah.
all the words from Rose and Rick. We knew all the songs. It's the same way they also get intrigued by language.
Same
It's-
exact.
And
thing.
that's where I mean, at one point the whole world was black. So I mean, it's just natural.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it makes you think. It makes you wonder. It's like,
Oh, Afropop
when is it gonna be? Like,
I think that the biggest the artist and whoever is in charge, the musical the big people in the big
Right,
places
right.
should come together and make Afropop an official genre.